Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to National Youth Folk Ensemble Presents. I'm Martin. I'm an ex-member of the ensemble, and I was a member from 2016 to 2018.
I'm Phoebe. I'm a current member of the ensemble, and I've been in it since 2016.
So what is the National Youth Folk Ensemble? Before we present our fantastic lineup of music that is going to be treating you for the next hour and a half, we thought we'd talk a little bit more about the organisation and the ensemble. It's an initiative organised by EFDIS, which is the English Folk Dance and Song Society, which is a fantastic organisation. They represent English traditional music in loads of different ways. They've got some amazing resources, so check that out if you get a bit of time, EFDSS. So the idea is that EFDIS will bring together some of the best folk musicians they can find, young folk musicians between 14 and 18, with the aim of getting young people more involved in folk music. So what they do is they bring these musicians together, and for 4 weeks, 4 separate weeks in a year, they meet up and create music, learn about music, talk about folk music, and get immersed in traditional culture, with the aim of spreading folk music and sharing folk music in young people. We're very lucky today because we have the longest serving member of the NYFE here with us today, Phoebe Hearty. She's been a member for 4 years, longer than anyone in the world. The longest serving member. So Phoebe, 4 years, what a long time. What keeps you coming back to the National Youth Folk Ensemble?
Oh, well, Martin, many things. But I think the main thing for me is the ensemble's really based on listening to each other and, while playing together in workshops and really sort of sharing. And it's such an appreciative place to be. Everyone really wants to hear what you have to say and the music that you want to give, and I just think that's really beautiful because it makes the most beautiful relationships as well within the ensemble because everyone is just so there for each other. I remember on the very first residential, the first day, everyone was sat in the evening because we were about to do a session, and Sam Sweeney, who you'll hear from later, started a really simple tune that we'd all learnt on the sampler days. And I just remember everyone just starting to play together, and it was so together, but also so sort of exciting and tentative because everyone could hear everyone, and everyone wanted to hear everyone, but everyone just wanted to play together. And I'd never really been in a session that was quite like that. Like I'd been in sort of mad, exciting, loud, fast sessions, but one that was really sort of really felt by everyone who was in it. I just thought it was really lovely, and then the pastoral people who are some of my favorite people in the whole world, they would come in and they'd be like, oh yeah, there's hot chocolate next door if you'd like some. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, this is the place to be.
Well, that sounds like a great experience. Some of the audience, I was very some of the audience might be classical musicians. They might be violinists who are used to playing with sheet music and things. And one thing about folk music is that you don't use sheet music. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about that. You're talking about listening. So maybe you could talk about how the sheet music thing affects the experience.
Yeah. So in a lot of traditional music in the folk scene, a lot of the music is you learn it by ear. So in the ensemble especially, we'll learn tunes by learning them phrase by phrase. Back and forth, you slowly learn the tune and then you just play it, and there is no sheet music involved at all. And I think that's really lovely because when you have the tune, you really know it. And then you can concentrate on listening to other people and listening to yourself and really getting into it. And you can change it if you like. I think that's amazing because you've got no instructions in front of you. So you can just play what you like. And there is sheet music. There's manuscript books, which a lot of the repertoire comes from, which have just little tunes in, lots and lots and lots of them. But it's totally up to interpretation, which I think is an amazing thing, and it makes a lot of creativity.
Interesting to hear. Cool. So what do you get up to on a day-to-day basis on one of these residentials that you go on every year?
Well, they're quite different. The first one in October is you get to know each other, you start to play together as a band, you learn some repertoire. We have workshops which are like looking at these tune manuscript books from hundreds of years ago and getting the tunes out and sort of playing them as we want. And there's writing tunes, and there's also you play games, you go on walks, you eat absolutely massive meals. It's in a nice manor house. It's all very lovely. Oh, and the other ones, there's a gig at the end of the other residentials. So you're working towards that, getting repertoire ready, sort of practicing for that. And in the summer, you're getting ready for a summer tour, which is a few days long and loads of fun. So
That's great. So you talked a bit about getting tunes from old manuscripts, and also playing gigs. So what's the process in between that? How does a tune go from a manuscript to a live show?
It's a good question. I think, well, in the ensemble, we get these tunes out of the manuscript, we learn them, we play them round and round and round many times, and we sort of come up with ideas on where we think the tune could go, what things we could play with the tune, and then we discuss sort of chord ideas, riff ideas that would go well, and then we often discuss a shape, so like a hill, if you want the tune to build up in the middle and then fade out, or if you want a massive build up and then a stop, we'll just sort of decide that, and then we'll incorporate all the ideas that we came up with and put them into the shape, and then just change it until we like it, and then that would be a gig ready piece.
Interesting to hear. So maybe we could talk a bit more about folk music in general now. So why do you love folk music in particular so much? You've mentioned little bits already, but maybe just as a broad.
Yeah. Well, I think with traditional music, it's so inclusive. Everyone's so into playing together, and I also think, especially in England, the fact that it's been there all the way through. Like, I mean, I don't want to go off on one, but let's talk about the history of England. But like in the history, there's a lot of things that I'm not sure. Like, we have that we can't be proud of, really. And even today with the whole, Black Lives Matter thing, it's clear that we've got a long way to go. But the fact that we have this identity of this tradition that's been there the whole time, there's tunes since the 13th century and earlier than that. And the fact that people have always come together and shared this music and written this music and passed it on. And there's just been that beautiful thing happening the whole time. I just think that's amazing. And the fact that it's still going. And just these simple melodies have just lasted because they make people so happy. I think that's really lovely.
Interesting to hear. About the music, so for young musicians coming into music that are new to music, what could folk music offer them? Maybe that's different from other genres of music as well, maybe?
Well, I think in the folk music scene, there's a massive amount of people wanting to share, older people in the scene passing music down to the younger people, and just a real want to share and teach and learn, just throughout generations. And I think that's a great thing going into it, knowing that there'll be people who just really want to help you and play with you. There's not really a gap. Everyone's just together. And also I think as a young person, it's so fun. Like, I've met some of my absolute best friends through folk music, and just festivals and gigs and sessions are just a really great time, where you're playing music and you're getting better, but you're also just having a really nice time. So I just think it's a great one for that.
Well, I'm sold, Phoebe. Sign me up. When can I join in again? So I'm under the impression you have something to share with us. You have a little something.
I'm glad you asked about it, because we do. We have a video so we had a virtual residential just recently in April, on Zoom. So we were doing a week of music, and during that, one of our ensemble members, Rowan Collinson, who's an absolute legend, she put together this video of one of the pieces that we'd arranged in October. So she got us all to record us playing our parts along to the piece, and then she put them all together in a video. And the tune is Ham House, which is from Playford Manuscript, Playford Dancing Master. And she just put it together, and it was so lovely because we'd been missing playing together. And then at the end of the week, she gave us this video of us playing together. So I hope you like it. Here it is.
Yeah, I can't wait. So Oh, it's a beautiful piece of music. Wow, I feel really lucky to hear that.
Um,
So how was it having a virtual residential? I don't think we mentioned that before. So you had a virtual course, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago?
yeah, we did. It was amazing. It was a strange one because it was all on Zoom or on different online things, but it actually worked really well. I'd never wanted to click hang up on the Zoom thing. We sort of, in terms of playing music together, we had to just play along to things and mute in terms of playing together. But then we also uh, put together group pieces. There was little breakout rooms on Zoom, and we also used software online to try and arrange things. And we had evening sessions. We had our listening club, which we have where everyone chooses a track to play that means something to them or that they just like, and everyone listens. So we could do a lot of the aspects of it. Yeah, it was great fun.
Oh, very happy to hear that. So I'm very excited to announce that we've got the first act of National Youth Folk Ensemble Presents. They're ready to go live on Facebook. I think they might already be live on Facebook now. This is the Wilswood Buoys. They're from Mersey Island. Fantastic band. They just released a fantastic single. I'm dead excited to hear it. Yeah, let's head over to their Facebook and check it out.
Okay, we're going out. Let's go to the pub. It's shots will be around or free. It might just mess you up. The English done, they put us up. Strict we got walk. Suspect, we slur. And now we got talk. It's drinking hour, happy hour. So someone say the queen. So something that you'll find. Hey, that's a great thing. I'm sorry, but I'm getting drunk. I'm slipping down the soul. I'm only working 3 a.m. Lying out my soul. Whoa! I've done too much again. Too much again. Whoa, falling down again. Too much again. Whoa, falling down again. Thank you. It's the weirdest thing talking into a phone. Yeah. Not seeing people that are watching. So that's our latest single. You can get that on Spotify and iTunes and other various platforms if you would like. What are we going to play next? The roller coaster. Roller coaster, yeah. Sure. Right, this is a song we wrote at the beginning of lockdown, I think, was it? About
Yeah.
2-3 months ago now.
Yep. It's our latest one. It's called Roller Coaster.
I'm giving up, I'm letting go. Anxiety and pain loop inside my brain. And what I once knew now burns in the distance. Clouding my mind and blurring my vision. You really gone? Is this even real? The one thing that ever really mattered to me is now looming somewhere between the wreckage. I'm calling your name and calling it quits. I'm a prisoner of my own mind, with thoughts that tangle and entwine, spreading fear, stirring rage. I'll ride this roller coaster, but I'll never make it to the top. Yeah, I'll never make it to the top. I've had enough, I'm clocking out. Surely my life is worth so much more than this. Years spent chasing nothing but a lie. It's broken my trust and hurt my precision. It's for the best, and that's what they say. As I slip my way down into this hole, I'm being eaten up by feelings that I can't restrain. I'm stopping this pain, I'm calling it quits. I'm a prisoner of my own mind, with thoughts that tangle and entwine, spreading fear, stirring rage. I'll ride this roller coaster, but I'll never make it to the top. Yeah, I'll never make it to the top. I'm a prisoner of my own mind, I'm calling out, but no one's listening. I'm a prisoner of my own mind, with thoughts that tangle and entwine, spreading fear, stirring rage. I'll ride this roller coaster, but I'll never make it to the top. Yeah, I'll never make it to the top. Never make it to the top. Yeah, I'll never make it to the top.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How we doing?
One more.
Time for one more. What have we got in here? Right. You alright? So that's not true.
Guitars really out of tune today.
Give us one of these.
Alright.
Sweet.
So it's one out of tune.
Sounds good to me. So this is going to be our last one. This is the title track of our EP that we released last year, which is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, all of that. So if you haven't checked it out already, please do. Really appreciate it.
Right.
Right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I've been driving for hours now just to see your face. Your voice in my head is what I need to make it all the way. I want you next to me, live our lives right by the sea. Life is hard, life is fast, let's not live it like the past. I want you next to me, our life's free of jealousy. Someday this situation's got to change. It's got to change. It's got to change. It's got to change. I've been waiting for days now just to see your face. I'm constantly craving for that time, but then I'm on my way. I want you next to me, live our lives right by the sea. Life is hard, life is fast, let's not live it like the past. I want you next to me, our life's free of jealousy. Someday this situation's got to change. I want you next to me, live our lives right by the sea. Life is hard, life is fast, let's not live it like the past. I want you next to me, our life's free of jealousy. Someday this situation's got to change. Got to change. It's got to change. It's got to change. 1, 2, 3, 4.
situation's got to change. Got to change.
Cheers. Thank you.
So, man.
What a great set from Wilswood Buoys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
That was great fun. Now we're going to head over to the live set of DeFuego. They're part of the Make Music Oxfordshire's live stream, and they're a Spanish guitar duo doing instrumental flamenco and rumba music. I was listening to them eating my cereal this morning. They're beautiful. So I know you'll enjoy it. Here we go.
Warming up.
That was actually one of the first songs that we composed together, and it is called Hummingbird because Tony has a friend in a boat, and we filmed the music video in a boat, and the boat was called Hummingbird. And the next
And that
song.
riff, you know, when they move their wings, I think didn't think about that before.
Oh yeah,
It's like a bit like a bird, like. Could be. Yeah.
Very nice.
The hummingbird riff.
Next
one.
Ancient woodland. Okay. That's a nice song, very heavy.
Dark moments.
Yeah, very dark, but happy. There's a lot of emotions inside. Okay, so the next song is called Lighthouse, and this is named after a really beautiful place. It's in Wales, and it's called Fishguard, and we played there so many times in is that jazz festival called
Aberjazz.
Jazz Festival, yes. So that place is amazing, and this inspired us to name our song and this kind of mood after that place. different from the other songs.
Yeah, very, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
By the way, if you would like to support us, please donate us in the PayPal button, or it is PayPal me/Spanish Guitar Hub, and we will split whatever we get from it. And you can also go to our website to support us and find some other ways. We have even a crowdfunding campaign. So if you go to the floor and you look for DeFuego, you can find us and you can support us there.
Yeah, thefloor.com, DeFuego. Then there's different tiers for supporting, and we'll be releasing special content just through the floor page. So have a look to see what we're doing on there. Thanks. Oh. Here we go.
This is our newest song. It's still under, how do you call this, under construction?
Under construction. Work in progress.
Work in progress. But I hope you will like it. such a fun song.
It's a fun song, yeah. Still needs a few things working on, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice one to play. Yeah.
A little bit more practice and it will be like fun.
Okay. Two more songs for you. We've got this one called E minor. A bit more of a bluesy vibe at some points. Some of it is improvised as well, so it's always a very fun one to play in festivals, and we normally leave it towards the end. So this is a little mini set, so we're putting it the one before the last. So hope you enjoy it. E minor.
Quite nice. So I think we have. Do we have time for two more songs? One more song. But I think it's 23 at the moment, so we might have time too. But anyway, guys, if you would like to support us, then go to paypal.me/Spanish Guitar Hub, or you can also go to the floor and choose DeFuego and choose because actually we are giving like a free concert every month. If you support us to 20, we also give a guitar instructional video as well. Either me or Tony, we both like give you some exercises. And also we will chat with you once a month about music and stuff.
After the gig, we do like just a questions hangout after the gig, which is going to be hosted through the floor. So.
But we are going to hang out with you actually after this concert as well. We can have a little bit of chat here as well. Yeah, so then this will be our last song.
Okay,
yeah. Thank you so much for listening to us, and please follow us on all of our social media, DeFuego Music, and see you hopefully next time with another live concert.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for Make Music Day UK for choosing us to put us to the national broadcast, and thank you so much for Abingdon Festival for supporting us as well and involving us in this event. This was really nice of them.
Yeah. I've done some research about this festival.
What an amazing set! Wow, that's made me so happy inside.
That was beautiful.
Really, really nice. So, ladies and gents, we're very sad to say we've come to our last set of the day. We're sorry to say, but don't you worry, because we have a fantastic artist playing today. He's a man that me and Phoebe both look up to a lot. Fantastic folk musician Sam Sweeney. He's recently produced an album. It's amazing. go listen to it straight after this set.
Repeat.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, so that's it from us. I've been Martin Parker.
I've been Phoebe Hearty. And we've been
National Youth Folk Ensemble presents. Check out the rest of Make Music Day, everything they've got to offer. We've had a great time. We hope you have as well. Have a fantastic rest of the day. This is Sam Sweeney.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Sam Sweeney, and I'll be with you for about half an hour. And I'm going to play you some tunes on my fiddle. That's what I do. It's a total pleasure to be here, and for the last few years, it's been a total pleasure to be an ambassador for Make Music Day. What an incredible thing! I hope you're enjoying the day, and just having a day full of music. Cool. So I'm going to start off by playing two jigs for you. A few years back, I made an album called The Unfinished Violin, which was about that fiddle just there. The fiddle itself was carved by a man called Richard Howard in 1915. He carved all the pieces of the fiddle in Leeds, where he lived, and very sadly, he went off to war, and he died in 1917 at the Battle of Messines, and he never came home and never finished putting the violin together. A lot of you will be very familiar with that story, but the pieces of it were found in a paper envelope and finally put together about 90 years later. And one day I went fiddle shopping, and I picked up that fiddle and fell totally in love with it. And the day I went in was the day that it was finished and hung up in the shop for the first time. So I was the first person ever to play it. So it felt like an amazing story to be a part of. So I made an album of tunes and bits of music from the First World War. So these two tunes are regimental march tunes. The first one is called St. Patrick's Day, and the second one is called Young May Moon. So here we go. Cool. Great. So I'll just keep going. I'll just play some more tunes. If you've never met me before or never heard me before, I don't sing. I can sing a little bit, but it wouldn't make for a great afternoon's entertainment. So yeah, I'm just playing tunes this afternoon. So the next thing I'll play you is actually from my new album, which is called Unearth Repeat, and I wrote the first tune in this little set of 2 tunes, and it's called Swift's Hill. And Swift's Hill is the most beautiful place in Stroud, just outside Stroud, where I live. And I wrote this tune when I was walking up to the top of Swift's Hill. When I say I wrote it, it just sort of appeared. So I'll play that for you, and then I'll go into this fantastic old Northumbrian tune called The Old Wagon Way. And if you're watching this and you're not very familiar with the whole folk world, yeah, I guess most of the stuff I'm playing today, and that I play generally in my life as a fiddle player, it's all traditional stuff, bar the odd thing that I've written or other people have written in more recent times. But it's traditional stuff. We don't know who wrote it, by and large. And these are tunes, some of them that are 200, 300, 400 years old even. And then I guess the fun part of my job is to go through all these old books of old tunes that have been collected and sort of blow the dust off them, if you like, and hopefully breathe a bit of life into them, and make them my own. So if you are a musician out there and you've never come across this folk music stuff, I heartily recommend getting involved. There are plenty of opportunities for people to get involved with folk music that have never played it before. Of course, I was involved for 3 years with the National Youth Folk Ensemble, and you've heard from a couple of them today. That's a wonderful thing. And there are many, many other opportunities for young people to get involved with folk music around the country. So do look out for those things. Right, back to the music. Here we go. Swift's Hill and The Old Wagon Way. Cool. Alrighty, so I'll play you two more things. The first tune I'll play a set of two tunes. The first tune is a very, very old tune. I found it in this collection called Thompson's Country Dances. I think it's an 18th century collection. And I was sort of flicking through all these pages of tunes just to see if any of them jumped off the page at me. And I found this little tune called Red and All Red, which is a strange name for a tune. So, yeah, I did a little bit of tweaking of it. I think I changed 2 notes. But that's the great thing about this folk traditional music. Again, for those who perhaps don't know that much about it, these tunes, they're in these books for us to play with, and they'll be in these books forever. So we can change 1 note, 2 notes, 50 notes, and those tunes will still be there. So I tweaked this Red and All Red tune just a little bit to make it slightly more mine, I guess. So Red and All Red. And then I will play you one of my absolute all-time favourite jigs. Jigs are tunes in the time signature of 6/8. And this tune is called The Maid of the Mill. And I learned it to play for my local Morris dance team last summer. And it was a very, very wonderful experience to play for the Morris on my own, which is a thing I'd never done. So yeah, here we go. I've got a couple more things I'll play. I wanted to play another thing from my Unfinished Violin album. This is another set of 2 tunes. They were both collected by George Butterworth, who had a very strong connection with the First World War. And these are actually 2 song melodies, but I just thought they were so beautiful together. Well, and in their own right, but so they fitted so beautifully together. So these are called, well, they're both called The Highland Soldier. Cool. I haven't played them in ages. I love those tunes. Lovely. I'll finish off then. Couple of tunes. The first one's called The Northern Lass, which I found in this fantastic old collection of English tunes called John of the Green, The Cheshire Way. And then, given that there's been a slight National Youth Folk Ensemble flavour to the afternoon, I'll play one of the first tunes that I ever taught the ensemble, and it's such a tune. It's called Booth's Hornpipe. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just sort of getting used to doing these online things. This is only my second one, but it's a total pleasure to do it. Thank you to Make Music Day, not only for asking me 3 years ago to be an ambassador for them, but just for the amazing work that they do every year, but also especially this year in these very bizarre circumstances. It's incredible that stuff can still go ahead. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks for tuning in, and keep watching because there's loads of stuff happening throughout the day. So cool. The Northern Lass and Booth's Hornpipe. Thanks again.